everyone, it's Mel with the Quilting Room with Mel, and today we are tackling a submitted question. Tanya asked about leader and enders in the Facebook group, and if you're not a member of the Facebook group, just head over to facebook.com and search for Mel's Quilting Room, MEL''S Quilting Room. There's a couple questions you have to answer just so I know that you're a real person, and I'll get you added. And you're welcome to ask questions, share your projects, all that good stuff. But Tanya was asking about leaders and enders. She didn't understand them. And as I was helping her and some other people were helping her, it clicked with me. She's probably not the only one, because it wasn't but a week ago. Paul and I had the same conversation. I was trying to explain to him on the way home from the grocery store. So we're going to do a demo on it. So right now, you see my machine, it's set up for me to sew just like normal. I've got threads hanging out, nothing under my needle, can start piecing. But if I was doing my leader and enders right, I wouldn't have these. There would be a piece, something under here, fabric. So there are two methods for leaders and enders. We'll start with that. So some people use scrap, and some people use other quilt blocks. So I've got a couple strips cut here, leftovers. So let's start with the scrap of fabric. So we would start by putting it under our needle. We would only do this when we change our bobbin or thread our machine. So we'd stitch down on that, and then we would start sewing our pieces together. So then I would just chain along. And when I get to the end, instead of yanking it out from underneath and leaving a tail that I have to hold on to, I would clip off that leader ender like I just showed and shove it back through, and then cut my chain off. And I would leave that under my machine until I'm ready to sew again with my next set. The other option you have, instead of using scrap fabric like this, is to use quilt blocks for another project. So you could have strips, you could have blocks. When you snowball blocks, you can save all those bonus triangles and use those as your leader ender. So you're actually building another project while you're sewing your current one. And that's what Bonnie Hunter does. If you haven't checked her out, quiltbill.blogspot.com. She actually just started her leader ender challenge. She starts one every July, and she gives you a unit or two and that you sew together, and at the end of the year you have enough units to make a quilt. Okay, so why do you do leader ender? Either the scrap or the quilt block units. There's a couple of reasons. I don't have to hold those threads. I don't know how many times I've gotten, okay, I wasn't paying attention, and just took off and unthreaded my machine, or ended up with a nest or something because I didn't hold my threads down, and now I've got a big mess I've got to deal with. Another reason is some machines, not all, but some, like to chew when you start. So once it gets started, it's fine, but that first couple of stitches, yeah, it wants to eat the fabric. So if you're using a scrap piece of fabric, who cares? And the other thing, and the reason I do it the most, because I've not ran into many problems with this machine eating fabric, it saves thread. So I'm not pulling out, we pull out a good 2-3 inches of thread for every time we sit down and sew or stop. That adds up over a course of a quilt, especially if you're using something like Aurifil that's kind of pricey. And I like the fact, normally I use quilt blocks under here. I don't use scrap fabric. So I'm actually getting 2 projects done at once. So that's it. That's the leader ender. That's the why, the how. The important part to remember is you always leave a piece of fabric under the needle of your machine. So you're not breaking that chain unless you have to rethread. Now, if you have to rethread, you got to pull it out and start all over. So, not a big deal. I hope this answers any questions you have. Don't forget, if you've got questions, you're always welcome to leave them in the comments. Join the Facebook group, post them in there. There's not just me that can answer them. There's all kinds of great quilters and vintage sewing machine enthusiasts in that group. We're all happy to help. Until next time, may your fabric never wrinkle. Bye, everyone.